Okay, hey, this is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. It's about an hour later and I've had to move locations, but I was talking about bureaucrats and, unlike us, they have all day to sit around and dream up things that they're going to do like this. Where if they were doing what they're supposed to do, they're supposed to be out in front running defense for us administratively. We are the ones that are boots on the ground. We're producing products. And I want to make it very clear to you that this particular group of bureaucrats at the MDA, and not all of them, there's a couple of boneheads in there, and I'm going to name some names here in a minute, because I talked about retribution a little bit, and that should be something that perks their ears up. I know they listen to these videos, but we have to keep farming, and then we have to defend ourselves from, I'll call it the Ministry of Agriculture. Here we have to defend ourselves. All right, and let me just share this part with you, that it boggles my mind here, actually. All right, I don't get my license in the mail, right? I get a letter in the mail, and the letter says that you haven't paid your fee. Well, we dig out the canceled check, and they cashed that a month ago. So my wife says, oh, there must be a mistake, right? See? And so when you consider that, all right, somebody at the office up here in Traverse City, I don't really know where it was generated, probably an administrative person, was told, generate this letter. Tell this guy he hasn't paid his fee. So this administrative person evidently sits down at a computer and generates this letter. All right, I'll mail it to him. That administrative person didn't just generate that on their own. They were told to do that. So can you imagine, I'm going to paint you a little word picture here, that administrative assistant is sitting on the stand, in front of a jury, and is asked, why did you generate this letter saying that Mr. Baker had not paid his fees? Can you imagine the answer that would come from that question? Just imagine it, and the gravity of an answer like that, right? Because I'm sure, if it came, this guy told me to do it. Okay, then we put that guy in the stand. Why'd you tell her to do that? Well, this guy told me to do it. Okay, let's put him on the stand. Why did you? Now, this probably wouldn't happen that way. It would probably happen in discovery. But eventually we'd get to the person that said, let's send this letter to the Bakers, right? And don't get me wrong, this isn't really about me. I mean, it is, but it's your government too. And we as citizens have a responsibility here. If you go along with this kind of stuff, there's a better word for it. If you go along with this, then you're consenting. And if you consent to it, then you agree with it, right? If you don't voice your opinion, then you have no reason to cry at a cocktail party. You have to come out of the woodwork and you have to do something. And that's why I'm doing this. I've told you guys that, I've been farming here for 15 years. I'm ready to do something else. Department of Ag is a really poor partner that I'm forced into partnering with. And I've already made the decision that we're going to do something different. We're selling this farm and we're going to move on. But this government stays here, So I've heard the argument from some people on their side, what do you even care for? You're not even going to be in farming anymore. Still, I'm a citizen and I have a responsibility to keep these servants in line. And they are woefully out of line right now. Now, this has been brought to the attention of their senior command. And so they cannot say that they don't know about this. I mean, they definitely know about this. And all right, you might say, well, I don't have a YouTube channel. Okay, Mark, what can I do? What can I do? Okay, I'm going to tell you what you can do. What we're talking about here is retribution, all right? You have a citizen that is claiming retribution, and I guess I am. Haven't done it formally yet, but I'm going to. And where that normally goes, if you have retribution and involves more than one state agency, that gets referred to, you guessed it, the Attorney General's office. But if the Attorney General's office refuses to take on this, then we have 3 agencies and multiple layers, right? So then it gets really hairy, and they're not even going to let it go there. I know they're not going to let it go there, because then it goes to a federal authority, and this state's track record with federal authorities is not good. All right, so they don't want that. So what can you do? Okay, here's what you can do. You can call the Attorney General's office and say, are you going to intervene in this? Are you going to intervene? And maybe there's something I didn't fill you in on. Everybody knows about the feral swine thing. Matter of fact, last weekend I was up in the Upper Peninsula, and my vehicle broke down, so I'm in the middle of nowhere. It's really desolate up there in places. And I'm walking along with a battery, and then a mile back down the road there's a van with the hood up, right? So a guy comes by, a young guy, he picks me up, and he takes me into town, you know, a few miles away. And on the way there, he says, hey, you're that guy that sued the DNR. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, people know about this, and they were overwhelmingly on our side. The people that weren't on our side were the people that work for the bureaucracies, and in order to keep their job, they have to breathe the party line. But offline, to me, they were like, wow, man, this was so wrong. I hope this never happens again. But it is happening again, right? And there are people that are doing this, and it is retribution. You may have thought that the whole feral swine thing was a DNR operation. It really wasn't. And I can prove it. I have depositions that I can make public now, and I will to correct authorities. But it was Michigan Department of Agriculture, and one of the names I want to name at this time is none other than Nancy Frank. What a beauty. And she claimed in deposition that it was actually her brainchild to do the feral swine initiative and a bunch of other stuff. And I'm gonna go into that. Now, I tell you something, I thought I was done with this. And I really wish that I was. I wish these servants were better servants, and I wish they didn't engage in the things that they do. Now, as time has gone by, we know why they did what they did, and we know what their agenda is. And I think it's important to continue this conversation and expose this for what it is. But Michigan Department of Agriculture was squarely behind the feral swine initiative, which is still going. And there's a lot of things that they do. You know, 1984, I brought that into the title of the last video. I read that book when I was a junior in high school. Probably a lot of people did. And in that book, there's a thing called doublespeak. And George Orwell thought that in 1984 we would have a form of government that would engage in doublespeak. And in the book, the Ministry of Love was actually where they would take you and torture you and realign you to see things their way, you know. And I think it's interesting that the Department of Agriculture here in Michigan goes to my customers and destroys my business, right? I'm talking to this kid on the phone, this Josh Felsk, and I said, do you realize what this does to my family? When you go to my customers and you tell them that they shouldn't do business with me or can't do business with me because I'm on the shit list or whatever, it destroys my business. That's how I pay my bills, right? Okay, it's 9:33. I don't want to go over. I'll pick it up next time. Thanks.